A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show, and lots to get into on this Thursday afternoon as we head into another very busy weekend in the world of sports and certainly on the local front. Lots of very intriguing things. The high school sports scene here over the course of the weekend. Of course, Penn State basketball getting a big road win over Washington last night in the wee hours of this morning as that game finished up. The Dear Goon joining us remotely today. And again, lots of things we can get into. I am enjoying the Olympics. Again, everybody has their own preference. I'm not telling anybody that you need to be with me on it. But, man, I think there's some really neat stories coming out of it. Just saw Dan Barefoot, the Penn State alum, in his debut here in the Olympics in the skeleton. And he had a very good run. And at least for a moment. I didn't see that last run, but it was in strong medal contention. At least, again, I don't know how many more folks are coming down, but a very good run.
Him that just got done?
For Barefoot. What's that?
I saw Barefoot's run. He was in 18th, and then there's another American who went. I just saw out of the corner of my eye. It could have been him, but he just placed first. So I don't know exactly who it was, but I'm marveling at
I think that was Barefoot.
I'm marveling at the sheer audacity and you-know-whats of these dudes to go down on that luge, that single, that head-first thing. It's unbelievable. I'm literally watching it right now out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, what in the hell? It hit 79 miles an hour. And your face is 4 inches off the ice. It's crazy. God bless.
It really is.
I mean, honest to God, Jeff, I'm telling you, I would love to do it in a bobsled with somebody else driving, and I'm just along for the ride. But my goodness gracious, man. 80 miles an hour, that close to your face is that close to the ice. Man, God bless them.
Yeah, it is remarkable stuff. No doubt about it. Let's go to Penn State hoops last night, Goon, because you had to feel good for Mike Rhodes, had to feel good for the kids. There were some moments where they don't make it easy on themselves, I will say. And I know it's a younger team, but, man, sometimes get out of your own way and just play some good fundamental basketball. But, importantly, they get the W, and, we'll see what happens here Saturday at Oregon. But nice to see Eli Rice back out there. And it really was a very balanced scoring attack for the Nittany Lions. And I think, at this point, you're just trying to build a little momentum here toward the Big Ten tournament, but more so, I think now just trying to lay the foundation for the future and, trying to get this thing turned around next season where you can, get into hopefully postseason contention here, NCAA tournament contention. And, I think how they finish up this season, Goon, is going to be important in that regard, both from the just the perception of the program from outside, but I also think it's important, Goon, that the kids that are on that roster, I mean, we talk about it all the time. You're now recruiting, your first recruiting chore as a head coach is recruiting your team from one year to the next. And, if they can finish up with some momentum, get some wins down the stretch here, I just think it makes it a much easier buy-in for some of these young players to say, yeah, you know what, I want to come back here. I think I'm going to be part of this turnaround here for the program. Whereas if you end this thing with only 2 conference wins I think it's a little easier to, maybe there's some greener pastures elsewhere that I can go take my talents toward.
Yeah, and I agree. I texted Mike this morning. I congratulated him on the game last night, and I said, they're staying out there. He never got back to me where they're staying. Did they get up to Oregon yet, or did they stay in Washington? All that stuff. So, and I said, hey man, this is a nice little season turnaround for you guys. You've been around enough athletic teams in your life that you guys go away for 3 or 4 days together, and a bond starts to build. And I think that could be one of those things right now where these guys are bound together. They're starting to bond together. And you know what? You're right. They are building for next year because you are recruiting for next year's team right now. And, you got to keep them together. And, you want to keep Mingo. I'd like to go Mingo squared so we'd have 2 Mingos on the team next year. That would be a very, 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 very big thing going forward towards getting into the tournament. Is having 2 of them, the brothers, on the team together next year, hopefully. We still got some time, I guess, but money can make that happen. But is that there? But again, it was a very good game. I lasted as long as I could, and I got up. Middle of the night, I had to check the score because I fell asleep. But they competed, they played hard, they played tough. Coming off that USC, which was just a tough, really, really devastating loss. But to get together, to rally up and head out to Washington and win that game last night as a 13-point underdog, by the way, just so we know. A hell of a job by Mike and the boys out there. And like I said, I really think that Oregon is not they're ranked below us right now. We have more wins than they do in the Big Ten. So let's chalk that one up. Let's get it. Let's knock that one out this weekend and start building towards an end rush and towards next season.
Yeah, I do think this is an important stretch coming up down the stretch for the Nittany Lions this season, just to try to build a little momentum into the offseason and give hope to both players and fans alike about what is possible here when next season rolls around. But yeah, it was funny, Goon, more information than anybody needs, but my sleep schedule has been a little off track. So I fell asleep early, and I mean early last night, by 9. We've got a sick kiddo, and my wife came down, and I'm asleep on the couch, and I'm not even sure she was getting meds for herself or our kiddo or both, but woke me up, and I'm like go over and look at the clock, and it's 12:01, and I'm like, ooh, let me just see where we're at, and did end up watching I missed the first half, and I don't know, probably the first 8 minutes or so of the second half. I'm forgetting exactly what the time was. I know they were in the second half, but anyway, I saw the end of the game, and again, they did not make it easy on themselves. Could have made it a little easier on the heart down the stretch there, but get the win. And I did think it was cool, Goon, after the game, they're talking with Mike Rhodes, and the entire team is behind him on the Big Ten interview. And I don't know.
What did you feel? I don't want to read
too much into it.
No. What did you feel? Because that's exactly what I felt.
Well, just that this team is buying in, and they're still together. Now, whether or not that is actually the case, again, I'm not going to sit here and pronounce it, but it was a good look, I will say that, for Mike Rhodes and the program, because that is the feeling you had is, hey, these guys are all in, and I do think that's important, that they keep fighting here down the stretch, and that you see those signs of progress, and certainly getting a road win going across the country like that, regardless of the caliber of competition. And I get it, Washington's not going anywhere either. That's a a good win for this team. Again, any win right now is a good win, but going on the road like that, and I think the Big Ten Network was accurately pointing out. I mean, it was a desperation game for Washington. I mean, they were talking about, well, Washington's got to win out to feel good about its NCAA tournament chances. I think that's a little far-fetched. They're not NCAA tournament bound, but I do think certainly they were looking at that as, hey, we've got to get this win if we're going to do anything this season at home against a Penn State team that only has one conference win, and Penn State went in and took it from them. So, again, we'll see what happens Saturday, see if they can get on a little bit of a roll here, because I do think it helps, certainly with fan interest, but again, to me, more so right now, it's like, all right, can you get these guys buying in to the degree that they want to come back and be part of this and what it could be next season?
You know what? I mean, I when I saw the interview last night, because I did wake up at the end of the game for that, and then also I watched it on the interview, the Big Ten Network review today, and that's instantly what I thought when all the team was behind Mike like that. That they have all bought in still. They're still all aboard, and they're still about the team going forward. And I loved it. I mean, I'm telling you, they're out on the West Coast all together. They got a couple days out there. You learn a lot about your teammates and this and that. And I really think they can get in a little bit of a run here. If I recall correctly, I think that there's only 14 teams that make the Big Ten, or do all make the Big Ten? Did they get rid of the bottom 4 teams now? Or no? Do you remember?
On the men's side, all 18 are in. On the women's side, they take the top 15. But okay. Penn State will be in the men's tournament.
Okay. So, I mean, again, I like what's going on right now. They can get a little momentum coming out of the West Coast trip right now. Build up a little momentum, get a couple wins at home, maybe, get to 5 or 6 wins in the Big Ten, and really change the end of the season. And again, you need to recruit this team if you like the core of this team. And they're tough. They're tough kids. They're young too. I don't mind this team. I know I would like to have a bigger man inside. And a bigger man presence in the middle, but that's been our Achilles heel and a lot of people's Achilles heel for a decade now, is not finding there's not that too many of the big powerful men who play with their back to the basket anymore. But again, get some momentum coming out of this weekend. Beat up on Oregon on this weekend. Come home, get another win or two here at home. Build some momentum. Go to the playoffs. Maybe win a game or two. Surprise some folk. Get guys pretty, back up interested in Penn State basketball. Re-sign this team. Sign Mingo's little brother to a contract, to his letter of intent. Hopefully, if he has committed already, I don't know if he has. I know he was up debating, but it'd be nice to get him and his brother going next year, because I like this team, and I like what Mike can build around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, you just like to see them get a little momentum and get a good feeling about themselves in the program heading into so. Not surprisingly, Guy Godowski coming out yesterday and saying that Gavin McKenna is, in fact, doing everything that he has been doing in terms of practicing, and will play at Michigan, and they'll let the legal stuff sort itself out. I think that's the right move myself. And listen, this is a big couple of games coming up for Penn State, especially, for all of the excitement, and it was rightful excitement, and it was a great weekend. But they did lose 2 games to Michigan State, and they need to kind of get that good vibe going in terms of results here as they travel to Michigan. Very tough stretch of the schedule here, obviously, for the Nittany Lions. I do think I'm really curious to see how the team handles. Listen, they're going to get hockey fans are kind of known anyway for being hard on their opponents. I think there's going to be a little extra something for the Nittany Lions when they go there this weekend. I think they're going to embrace that. I think they love that, and I think I'm hoping this thing plays out the way I'm envisioning, because I really think they are going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. I think Gavin's going to come out with a chip on his shoulder, and I think this thing is going to be wildly competitive. But I like Penn State's chances here, Goon, of at least getting a win, if not sweeping, at second-ranked Michigan, and again, just a week ago, top-ranked Michigan this weekend. But again, these are two of the 5 or 6 teams that you think are best positioned to make a run at the national title. But certainly, Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan are among the teams that you would consider not surprising if they end up hoisting the national championship here at the end of the year.
Absolutely love it. The McKenna situation, I think you are right. I think that's probably going to galvanize our guys. I'm talking about the basketball team being on a West Coast trip together for 5 days, building a bond type of thing, where we're doing that right now with hockey, and that is you're rallying around your guy in Gavin McKenna, and you're going to do everything in your power as a team. And Guy is to try to generate that, build that momentum amongst the team and take that out on the ice. So, Michigan's going to be hungry. They need to be hungry after last weekend, losing the number 1 rank. They lost their rank to Sparty. So Michigan's going to be hungry. They're going to be at home. It's going to be a great environment. I did see what you saw, and somebody was made a comment wait till the sons or the children of Yost, which is the building that they play in, the children of Yost get a hold of them. I guess that's their student section. And I'm like, what are they going to say? I mean, what are they going to say that's going to make him explode? I mean, I don't think they're going to get underneath his skin. I think that our team is going to use it to galvanize around him and rally around him, and I think that it's going to bode well for Penn State. So, withstand the initial pressure, as you well know. How you go to a big weekend series. The home team is going to come out in a flurry. They're going to want to go out and do what they can as fast as they can. So, you're the visiting team. You got to withstand the crowd. And then, if you get the goal early in the first 10 minutes of the game, like you and I have always talked about in hockey, it takes that crowd out of it. And that's what you got to do. And by the third period, they'll be turning on their own players. So huge, huge, huge series for the boys. Trust in Guy is there. This is his wheelhouse. We talks about, we talk about how, guys' teams always rally at the end of the year. They're always peaking at this time of year, and it's about that time. So watching that, a little bit of that Sparty and Michigan game last weekend.
Yeah. Sparty
came out of that Beaver Stadium game, and they got a lot of momentum coming out of that weekend. So Sparty's playing really well. Took care of Michigan last weekend, took their number 1 ranking, all of that. So Michigan's going to be hungry, and we need to be ready out there early to withstand the early pressure. But as I said, I know Guy's going to have these guys ready to go. So our good friend Guy Godowski, our good buddy.
Indeed. No, I'm excited to see how the weekend plays out for the Nittany Lions, because I do think they are. I think they're going to be ready to go. Now, again, Michigan's obviously an outstanding team in its own right, and at home, no easy feat. But I'm excited about what I think at least could happen here this weekend in that regard. Penn State men's lacrosse, also a big one with third-ranked Princeton coming up on Saturday at noon. This is this is an interesting season for Jeff Tambroni's team. I think that they are. I think by the end of the season, they are going to be really, really good. I think they're still kind of figuring some things out right now. I'm really curious to see how this game plays out on Saturday. Hunter Aquino is obviously off to another great start here and is very special as an offensive weapon. But if Penn State can get the win here, I think it starts to open up a world of possibilities for what this year's team can do. And just being competitive, I think, in this thing right to the end would be a big deal for the Nittany Lions at this stage. Couple of notes. Trinidad Chambliss is suing the NCAA. They had denied Chambliss a 6th year of eligibility. He is suing to get that year of eligibility. I don't know all of the details. I haven't really read through the Chambliss case in particular. With everything, I just, if you're the NCAA, I know you're trying in some way to show that you still have some semblance of credibility as a ruling entity in the college sports world. But with all of the extra years that they have allowed in recent years, I don't know all of the details. I should have read through a little more, but what are you doing? Do you have any doubt, Goon? And again, I don't know anything. I really don't know the details of the case. I would be willing to bet a good chunk of money if I had it that Chambliss is going to win this. He'll be playing for Ole Miss next year, and the NCAA will again get hammered in the courts. At some point, if you're the NCAA, do you not just say, you know what? Let's go ahead. And again, maybe I'm right. Maybe there's more to this particular case. But we had the story this morning. The guy in Montana, Goon, who started his career in 2018 at USC, and he was granted. Now, again, extenuating circumstances there. I get it. I did read through his case, and missed the better part of 5 seasons with injury, and then you throw in the COVID year. But he is granted a 9th year of eligibility. 9 years of college football. And again, I get it. He did not play for a bunch of those years. It has been a really injury-ravaged career to this point. But, come on. 9 years. This guy is going to be, on a roster and part of a college football program. And then we're going to turn around and again, I am speaking out of turn. I really need to look into the Trinidad Chambliss case. It just, with everything else that's being allowed, it just seems like, a 6th year of eligibility, go ahead and grant that just to save yourself the embarrassment of losing in court yet again, which is what I think is going to happen to the NCAA in this particular case.
I don't get the 9 years. How they give the medicals out. I know I'm a relic. I know I'm a dinosaur. I know it's 30 years ago, but the only guy I know to ever get a medical red shirt, and that is that you could not play a whole year because you had a devastating knee, a devastating injury, and that was Chris Mazik. Yeah. Chris was in his leg 7 or 8 times before I even got to Penn State. He was out of football and wasn't even at Penn State for 2 years. And then he came back to Penn State, and they gave him a 6th year of eligibility after his normal 5. But 8 or 9 seasons, come on, man. I just don't. Honest to God, Jeff, I thought we were through with this COVID bull crap already. It should have timed out by now. This is the last year, right? This is the last. It's like these guys are 5th-year guys, but Again, you said it. Like, they give out 7, 8, 9-year eligibilities, but they're going to fight Trinidad on all of this. I just don't understand it. I mean, is it because he's a quarterback and he's a well known guy and it's a known thing? I don't know the information of it. I think he may be a junior college guy, a 1AA guy who moved up. I don't know the rules of it, but like how they pick and choose the medical stuff and then how they can give multiple medicals. I mean, I can see one medical, which is a big thing, but now we're working 3 or 4 total years of medical red shirts. It's like, come on. I don't get it I don't understand. You're right. I'm with you. I don't understand the rationale of who gets it and who doesn't get it, what goes into it, what plays into it. I don't know. But honest to God, why is Trinidad trying to come out? Like, why is he trying to stay in? I should be saying, I mean, dude, that cat is as high as you can get right now, in my opinion, with how he played in the playoffs. I mean, his stock is pretty dang high in not a really, really strong quarterback class. So unless the NFL has told him that, hey, you're not going to be ranked that high, nor will you be going that high, I literally thought once they first turned him down that he'd have been like, all right, whatever, I'm going to go to the league because I think that his stock is pretty high the way he played in the playoffs. But what do I know? Just a goon. Goon.
Yeah. Well, and again, NIL changes everything too. There is something to be said for being the big man on campus, and you're earning a pretty healthy paycheck to boot. That's a pretty fun spot to be in as well. And yeah, he may have gotten some intel on, all right, this is where we're seeing you right now. If you come back and do X and Y, look out, you could move up a couple more rounds. I have no idea what all he's hearing and the information he's getting, but honestly, just on the surface, you can stay in college for another year, make 7 figures. I can see the appeal of that, even if there's potentially bigger paychecks out there at the next level. But we'll follow that case again without knowing the details. I feel like I already know how that one's going to end up, and I feel like the NCAA should know that and just get out of its own way. Is what it feels like to me.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk. I know you'll be shocked. I thought maybe we'd talk a little Penn State wrestling, Goon. Just this once. I'd like to, delve into that particular sport and that particular program. A lot involved in tomorrow night's dual meet, and I think. I just think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun for the kids on both teams. I think fans hopefully just enjoy it. And I want to talk a little bit about the importance because a couple of folks were posting this week Tom Ryan's comments going all the way back to the national duels. I just want to revisit that a little bit. And again, it's different people can have different perspectives, but I do want to delve into that a little bit and this idea of growing the sport and how you go about growing the sport. So we'll kick that around. On the other side of this timeout, our first of the big show today, you are listening to the Line Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. All right, and we'll be right back.
You look a bit nervous, eh?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again,
The Fox, your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox, State College.
Back here on a Thursday afternoon ahead of a busy sports weekend. I do want to mention on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox in Center County and streaming at 987thefox.info. We will have live coverage of the District 6 AA Wrestling Championships this weekend. And Todd and Norm Brown will have the coverage for you. We'll get underway just a little before 11 tomorrow morning. We'll have the two sessions tomorrow, and then we will have the two sessions on Saturday as well. So looking forward to high school wrestling taking the airwaves here this weekend, and really for each of the next 4 weekends. We will have high school wrestling postseason coverage. Again, things will get underway just a little before 11 tomorrow morning with the AA tournament down in Altoona. We'll resume the coverage at about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. And then on Saturday, our coverage of the sessions will begin at 8:45 Saturday morning, and then we'll resume at about 4:45 on Saturday afternoon. So looking forward to that. The following weekend on Saturday, it will be Saturday the 21st. It'll be the AAA District 6 Wrestling Tournament, along with the District 6 Girls Wrestling Championships. And then we'll have live coverage that following weekend of the AA Regional Tournament. And we'll have updates from the AAA Regional Tournament as well that weekend. And then, of course, March 5th through the 7th, the PIAA State Championships in Hershey. And the Browns will have coverage of it all here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. And we stick with wrestling, Nittany Lions and the Buckeyes in the dual meet of the season. Coming up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock start at the Bryce Jordan Center. Braden Davis will wrestle for Penn State, and Brandon Cannon will not wrestle for Ohio State. On paper, probably those first two bouts, toss-ups. I mean, Penn State's ranked 1 and Ohio State 2 at 125. Ohio State's ranked 2 and Penn State 4 at 133. But I think most fans would rank those as toss-up bouts to open the dual meet. Penn State would be a favorite in 6 of the final 8 bouts in the duel with Cannon out at 157. And then Ohio State will be a pretty big favorite at 141 and a strong favorite at heavyweight in the dual meet tomorrow. So, if Penn State can win one or both of those first 2 bouts, pretty hard to see the path to victory then for the Buckeyes. If Ohio State can win those first 2 and then get bonus points from Mendez at 141, could make things very interesting at the Bryce Jordan Center tomorrow night. But, Kale Sanderson said, this is, you look forward to these big matches and getting that opportunity. And I think that's going to be the case for both of these teams. I think Tom Bryant's very excited about the opportunity here to compete in the Jordan Center. And he certainly likes the team he has put together. And it is a great wrestling team that will come in here to the Jordan Center tomorrow night. Penn State has a chance here, depending on how everything finishes up, but for the 3rd straight year to make the claim that this team is the greatest in the history of college wrestling, and certainly it has that type of potential when you look at it. The most dominant rankings came out yesterday, and it really is amazing, Goon. You have 6 of the 8 most dominant wrestlers in the country on that Penn State roster. And we've just not seen anything ever like that. And again, the way they do the most dominant rankings, they have a minimum of 15 bouts for this initial ranking. So you have to have wrestled at least 15 bouts. And then they assign the dual meet scoring for your wins. So you're getting 6 points for a pin, 5 points for a technical fall, 4 points for a major decision, and 3 points for a decision. Obviously, no points for a loss. And when you and then you divide that by the number of bouts that you have competed in this season, and you get the average score, and that is how they determine and they release the top 10 rankings. So normally you have, the last couple of years anyway, my memory is serving right, so there's usually like 2 or 3 guys that are right around 5 points per bout at this stage of the season, and those are usually the guys in contention for the Hodge Trophy. And usually it's, you're right around 5, either just below or just above. Every now and then you get somebody at like 5.1 or something like that. Mitchell Messenbrink leads the way this season with a 5.35 points per match so far. Again, he's won every bout by at least major decision to this stage of the season. So he is far and away the most dominant. The second most dominant is Levi Haynes, who checks in at 4.88 points per bout. And then Ohio State's Jesse Mendez, who will be here, of course, tomorrow night with the Buckeyes, is right behind Levi Haynes at 4.82 points per bout. And then Penn State has the next three, 4, 5, and 6, most dominant. In fourth is Shane Van at 4.81. Then it's Marcus Blaze with 4.71. And then PJ Duke, who has a loss on the season, still checks in at 4.53. Missouri's Aiden Sinclair is seventh at 4.43. And then Luke Lillidahl rounds out the top 8 for Penn State at 4.4 points per bout. So, as if you needed further proof that the Nittany Lions are, in fact, the most dominant team in the country, at least going into the dual meet with Ohio State tomorrow night. That is resounding proof. 6 of the top 8 most dominant wrestlers on one roster here in Happy Valley. So, very impressive, obviously, what Penn State has been able to do as a team. Again, that starting lineup, you start to run out of adjectives to describe the greatness. But I mean, 144-7. The 10 starters expected to be in the starting lineup tomorrow night. The overall record, cumulative bout record this season, 144 wins and 7 losses among 10 starters. It's just, that is crazy.
In the Big Ten.
Yes, and you're now, all but one meet left on the Big Ten schedule. It's just mind-blowing stuff. Again, they're winning, the starters are winning their bout 80% of the time. So, 8 out of every 10 bouts they are wrestling this season are resulting in bonus point victories, which, again, is just an unheard of type of statistic for an entire roster. Again, if you get an individual wrestler or a couple of wrestlers who are winning at an 80% bonus rate clip, you're like, wow, we're up here. That's big stuff for a team. An entire starting lineup at this stage of the season to be winning 80% of their bouts by bonus point is just it's insane. We just have never seen anything quite like this in college wrestling. That being said, again, Ohio State does have the one team out there that I think can challenge, although with Brandon Cannon out, again, even if everything kind of breaks Ohio State's way, they're going to need something really surprising somewhere along the way to pull the upset. Now, have we seen surprising things in college wrestling and in sports? Well, of course. So, again, they would have to win, you would think, going into tomorrow night. The first 3 bouts, take 125 through 141, win heavyweight, and then pull off a surprise somewhere. And it's not that Penn State's, an overwhelming favorite at some of the other weights. Dylan Fishback is really dangerous and will be a really good test for Rocco Welsh. I think Carson Harchla is outstanding in his own right and will be a challenge at 174 for Levi Haynes. Ethan Styles is very good. He has a great length. I mean, if you're trying to drop the scenario here for Ohio State, could Styles catch Van Ness and get big points? Sure. And that would be the hope and the path there to victory. On the other side, from the Penn State perspective, I think you go into it thinking Penn State could win, at least 8 of the 10 bouts. And, if Penn State wins 7 or 8 of the bouts tomorrow night, again, to me, this team remains clearly on track to put itself at least in the discussion once again of whether or not this is the greatest team in the history of college wrestling. And again, it'll obviously come down to then what happens in the postseason, and that's where ultimately you're going to be measured. But Penn State has set the NCAA tournament scoring mark in each of the last 2 seasons, and certainly the potential is there for this team to do that again this season. I do want to go one thing that, and it's gotten posted a few times, and I've had a couple of folks reach out to me and ask my thoughts on it. I think we discussed. I know we had to have discussed it when it came out. The Tom Ryan was critical of Cale Sanderson and Penn State for not going to the national duels, and again, that's fine. I don't think you want to be critical of the top team and the top draw for not being there. That's fine. I think that's fair game. What I don't think is accurate, and again, everybody has their opinion, but the idea, Tom Ryan's contention was, that the coaches that were there, man, we're in it to grow the sport. And Cale Sanderson and Penn State, they just don't care about growing the sport. They're too focused on their program. I'm paraphrasing, but that was clearly, you weren't having to read between the lines. That's what Tom Ryan was saying, is that the national duels is how you grow the sport. I'm just going to push back on that with a couple of things. So that event was held in Tulsa, Oklahoma this year. They drew, with all of the top teams except for Penn State out there, they drew less than 3,000 fans. So it wasn't like there were massive numbers of Ohio State and Oklahoma State and Iowa fans pouring in. Man, we've got to see this. Now, were they watching on Flow? Probably. I don't know exactly what the streaming numbers were. But here is the thing, Goon. So Penn State is going to pack Rec Hall for the foreseeable future, right? With Cale Sanderson here and with this program rolling the way it is, with the excitement around Oklahoma State wrestling, they are going to get very large crowds at Oklahoma State. Iowa, with the passion it has, even with the relative struggles they're having this season, they're going to draw very well, all of that. How do you grow the sport, though? I think this is very interesting, because I've never really, and I like the idea of the national duels, so I'm not an anti-national duels guy, but I just don't think that's how you grow the sport, because if you look in most sports, right, you take the top 16 teams that are out there. Well, year in and year out, at least 10 of them are pretty much the same teams. So, like, if you look over the next 5 years, projecting ahead, I would expect Penn State would be there every year. Oklahoma State would be there every year. Iowa would be there every year. Iowa State would be there every year. Ohio State, if I didn't mention them, would be there every year. I think Virginia Tech, probably North Carolina State, probably Michigan, probably Arizona State, probably, depending on it. Yeah, again, we'll see how some things play out here. But the point is, Lehigh would be there. You're going to have a lot of the same programs year in and year out. What you're not going to have, hardly ever, if ever, is a Wyoming being invited to come participate, or a Bloomsburg or a Clarion, or a Cal State Bakersfield, if they even have a program, and that's looking like it's not going to be the case. So by having the same teams competing every year, again, it's going to be exciting for those teams. I think it's a neat event, but those fans, you're not getting more Penn State fans into the sport because you're doing the national duels. And it's the same with any of those powerhouse schools. And the Wyoming fans, again, they might check it out, but they're not going to travel the way they do to the NCAA tournament to see, hey, we might have a couple of kids that could contend for national titles or at least All-America honors. Where you're going to go check that out. You're not traveling to Tulsa if your team's not involved. Unless there might be a couple of people that really love the sport, but you're not growing the interest in the sport by having the national duels. How you're growing the interest in the sport is by having a Penn State team go out to Wyoming for a dual meet, and it draws twice the number of wrestling fans or of sports fans to the arena I've ever had. Well, that's growing the sport. That's getting more eyeballs checking out the sport in person. I would argue that is a much more impactful and meaningful way of, quote unquote, growing the sport than having an event that has the same teams that already have great followings match up against each other year after year. And again, I'm not anti-national duels, so don't misunderstand. The idea that is how you're going to grow the sport, I'm just not buying it, and I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that is how you will grow the sport of college wrestling.
I gotta cut you. I gotta ask you, how does a dual tournament work? Do you have like head to head, and then you advance? So you might wrestle 6 times a weekend, 8 times a weekend?
Well, the way this is set up, it'd be 4 times, but yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you would wrestle a Minnesota, the winner advances, right? Is that what we're saying? As a team, your team head to head, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And
in the tournaments, so what if we're up 38-0 after 4 or 5 matches? Do they just cancel the rest of them? Or they just continue them all and it's all added up and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, so they wanted us. Ryan was mad because Kale, who does more than anybody to expand and grow the sport, because I don't know many people who know Tom Ryan's name versus Kale Sanderson, so shut up, coach. Who is what you said is you go to a event in Wyoming and the amount of kids that could be there who you could influence is multiplied by thousands, because those thousands, that 1,000 kids that are in the crowd are not going to be able to travel to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like Russ Rose used to do with the women's volleyball team, take them around the country and stuff like that. That's how you grow the damn sport. Like Russ told me a story one time when he was coaching. He says they went to Hawaii. And I may have actually told this story before on our show years past. But he said that the girls got off the plane and it was like the Beatles just showed up in Hawaii. Every little girl there knew every Penn State girl's name, everything about them. He was like, our own crowd, our own home fans don't root for these girls as much as these girls in Hawaii did. So you take we're wrestling Princeton next weekend. Is that at Penn State or at Princeton?
That'll be at Penn State. Yep, Rec Hall.
You tell me a chance that a Princeton team would ever have a chance to wrestle Penn State. It's not happening. It's like you're saying about Wyoming. I got some of the other smaller schools out there that the wrestling schools. You're completely right in what you're saying, Jeffrey. 100% right in what you're saying. And I personally, don't know Kale Sanderson that well, but I know that what Tom Ryan said was way out of line, in my opinion. It really was. It was very condescending and very disrespectful to the number one guy in your sport who you're eating because of that guy, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I mean, Tom Ryan's a good coach and all. I get that, but dude, to call out Kale Sanderson that it's not doing enough to grow the sport. Come on, man. That's I hope that's being talked about in the wrestling room this week. Whatever. But you're around them. You get it. You understand it. You know how it is. I just thought that was very disrespectful of Ryan to come out like that and say that last year.
Well, I think that the other part of it, to me, Goon, is I think when you look at the all of these, Olympic sports, non-revenue sports, whatever term you want to use, the sports that aren't football and basketball, men's basketball, one of the challenges moving forward is, to me, you need some of these programs that would not be part of the national duels. I have not been and will not be. You would not think part of the national duels to continue to exist. Well, the national duels again isn't going to help that cause. Like the national duels is doing nothing to keep wrestling afloat at even in the Big Ten at like a Northwestern or in Indiana. Like that's not helping those programs. And those are the programs, again, the Iowas and the Oklahoma States and the Penn States are going to be okay. Whatever ultimately this thing ends up being, they're going to be in better position than the other wrestling programs that are out there. So those programs, again, I don't need the national duels. I think the national duels, again, are fine. I would like to see it at a different time of the season and kind of present it a little differently, but whatever. That's not – I think the national duels can continue to exist. I think it's a fine way to showcase your sport, but then you also do need to try to grow the sport. And I think by getting the national tournament on the national platforms that ESPN has, that has helped grow the sport, I think, because you're seeing those numbers go up year after year. And again, the national tournament is going to sell out because of the Penn State fans and the fans of all of the teams. Now they recognize it as the marquee event. So the national tournament is going to be fine. What you're trying to do now, or at least what I think the sport should be trying to do, is, all right, how do we get more folks in on a regular basis to dual meets? And again, I'm not talking Penn State and Oklahoma State and Iowa are fine. Like they're going to get a lot of people in for their dual meets. I'm saying, how do we get more people coming out to watch a Bloomsburg versus a Clarion, or even an NC State and a UNC, or a Virginia and Pitt? You want to get more eyeballs checking that stuff out. Now, Flow Wrestling, I think, has helped in that regard. But I think getting some of those marquee programs into those other schools, it does much more for promoting the sport than the national and growing the sport. Again, getting more people involved, more people willing to give the sport a chance. And and then the other part of it is you've got to make it entertaining. If you're an average sports fan and you've not checked out wrestling before, and you come and you watch 8 matches that are taffy pulls and end up in 3-1 scores, I'm not sure you're growing the sport. Now you go out there and you put on some pins and, whoa, what was that move? Well, what did that guy just do? Well, now you have people that are, again, maybe novices to the sport saying, maybe I do want to learn a little bit more about that. So, that's the other part of it, is it's not just getting the big programs in, it's getting entertaining matches as part of the equation as well. So we'll see again how everything plays out. I just there's been a bunch of people posting the stuff, and I think just trying to get things going, and that's fine. That's part of the fun of sports. And again, you can have different viewpoints on this. I think it is a tough argument to make that the national duels is how we're going to grow the sport of wrestling. I don't see a very good argument for that. Now, you can still, hey, man, having a national duel tournament is great for the sport, and it's a lot of fun, and it's neat to have all of the top teams there for one weekend. Other than nationals, fine. I'm all on board, and we can have that discussion, but understand that you're not growing the sport if you're having the same teams involved year after year in a big event, and having those teams, again, divvy up a financial reward. Well, again, if the financial reward was going to the programs that are struggling to figure out how to sustain themselves, the Lock Havens and the Bloomsburgs of the world, okay. Well, that money was going to Ohio State and to Oklahoma State and to Iowa. Well, that's going to help grow the sport. the programs that already have way more resources than anybody else, now we're going to give those kids a little more resources, and that's going to help grow the sport. I'm not seeing that as a good
Who won?
Ohio State.
Are they going to hang a banner?
Wow, the National Duels banner, sure. All right, we're going to take a break here, and we will be back much more on a Thursday afternoon. This is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show, excuse me, on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
You look a bit nervous, hey?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College.
And back here on a Thursday afternoon as we head into another busy sports weekend. Again, District 6 AA Wrestling Championships. Our coverage will get underway just before 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll have coverage tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, and then again Saturday morning and Saturday evening from the Altoona Fieldhouse, and it'll be Todd and Norm Brown providing the coverage of all of our postseason high school wrestling action, AAA tournament, and the girls' championship for District 6 will be next week, a week from Saturday, and then it's the AA regionals that we'll have the following weekend, and we'll have updates on the AAA regionals that weekend as well, and then the PIAA state championships from Hershey at the Giant Center on March 5th through the 7th, and again, we'll have all of that coverage for you here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. And again, Penn State, Ohio State, highlight of the upcoming weekend here for Penn State on the local front, but lots of good things happening here this coming weekend for Penn State athletics. A lot of interest. Did get the official word that 9 Penn State football players will be heading to Indianapolis last week of the month here for the NFL scouting combine, or at least 9 have been invited, I should more accurately say. And that's always just such a shogun. I mean, I know people rightfully are interested in it, and you follow it and you see the different times and the different, hey, that guy jumped 2 inches higher than anybody else. Okay. And then we just always seem to get carried away. Actually, we don't. I think the NFL teams get carried away on the measurables, and then it's like you kind of forget, oh, yeah, but on the tape, we saw, remember how he kept missing tackles or he can't jump that extra inch, but what he did do was make the tackle every time he got his hands on a carrier or a receiver or whatever it may be. It's again, I get it as far as it goes, and it's more information, I guess, is better, but also either there are great athletes that can't play football, and there are so athletes that are great football players. They're not the same thing.
Small hands. You can't play quarterback with small hands. That's my favorite. I'm waiting for guys to start breaking down Fernando Mendoza because he doesn't have the arm strength and he doesn't have this. He doesn't have it. I don't know what the hell it is, but he has it, bro. I mean, he makes all the throws in the collegiate football. So I go back to this all the time. hell of a job by the NFL to monetize the NFL Combine.
It's amazing.
I mean, think about it. The two things that they have monetized are the NFL Draft and the Combine, and they get 7 to 8 days of complete coverage out of that. It's amazing what they can get out of it. But having been to the Combine, knowing what it is and how it is, and I mean, it's crazy. It's a grind and all this and all that. But it's so crazy now is that you don't train. I mean, it's almost like you're not even training to be a football player for 2 months. You're training to just be like this, like gladiator competitor. Like you're jumping, running, and lifting as much as you can in certain exercises that and that all you can do to build up and improve those for the next 2 months. That's what you got to do, and it's just crazy how specialized it's become. And yeah, it's a pretty good meter of athleticism and all that, but I'm sorry, dude, you still got to put the pads on. I mean, just like wrestling, you know what? You could say, act, look all great, and you can be all this and stare down your opponent and wear the eye black and shave stuff in your head, be Johnny Tough Guy, but you still got to go out there and wrestle. That's the bottom line. You still got to go out there and play the game of football. Whether you jumped 48 feet in the air or 14 inches. I mean, does it really matter? Yes, it explains. I know why they do it. They want to see how explosive a player is. I get it. I understand that. But because he's explosive, he makes him a great football player? No, it doesn't. It comes down to coaching and heart and attitude, and that's immeasurable. You can't measure that at the NFL Combine. So, but it is fun. I do enjoy watching it. Having gone through it and know what it's like to see it actually on television and how they have it. How the NFL has really puts it on television and all that. It's pretty crazy. It's amazing what they have done.
It is, and yeah, I mean, hats off to them. You're right. As with just about everything associated with the NFL, they have made it into a show, a spectacle, and been able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, they'll show you the testing stuff, though, Jeff. But I'll give you a quick little story here. So you go into, let's say there was 30 teams when I was playing, or maybe there was 32. I don't know. I think there was 30. So you had 5 different rooms you went into, and there were 6 teams in each room, and you had 10 or 12 players in the rotation. So you went to this room and they went over all your medical conditions, and they had one of the team doctors. They were giving your name and your file, and they reviewed it for a week or two. And then they made a presentation to the crew, to all the other teams, the scouts, the coaches, and the team doctors and physicians and trainers about your medical history. And you got to sit there, and then they just lay you on a table, and you got dudes grabbing you and ripping you and tearing you to see how your knee flexibility is. Well, why did you wince? Why did you wince when I pulled your shoulder like that? I don't know, dude, because you just pulled my shoulder out of the socket. I mean, what do you want me to do? They're like, oh, you winced in pain. What's going on there? Like, I'm not lying to you. Yeah. My agent told me, you go there with a slight injury, you're leaving with a full injury, because the way they pull prod on you, and it's crazy, but it is what they do. Again, it's probably not, but you are a piece of meat. I mean, that's what it is. You are a piece of cattle going through the chute at a 4-H club, and they're looking you up and down, and it's degrading to a point. I'm not going to lie. It's degrading. But the worst part about it is, Jeffrey, is that they're doing this like you're in spandex and like a T-shirt. You're in like spandex top to bottom, and it's like stuff you don't normally wear. I'm walking around in a spandex pair of shorts and a spandex shirt. Like, what the, it's crazy. But the worst part is that I had played in the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama, and they had almost a mini combine there. Like, I'm like, I just did this a month ago, guys. Like, what the hell's the problem? Where they lined you up and they, like, I'm not lying to you, Jeff. This is what they did at the Senior Bowl. If you go to a conference and there's a 1,000-seat conference, They may have 500 chairs over here, a big aisle, and then 500 chairs over here. They put the athletes in that middle aisle, and they stand you there in just your underwear. I stood there in my underwear for an hour as you walk through the line, and there's just dudes grabbing you. Like, they want to see if you got, like, body fat. They want to feel underneath your breast. They want to feel you have a big chest. They're like grabbing your butt, and you're like, what in the hell is going on, man? It's like, it's degrading to say the least. And they get up there, they're measuring you, and then I was 6'7" my whole life, and I go to the combine, I'm like 6'5 3/4. I don't know what the hell happened on that plane ride out there, but they knocked me down 1.5 inches, and I'm like, Jesus. You know, and then I go back to Penn State, and they measure me in my combine, and I'm 6'7" again. And you're like, what's going on here? Is the measurement out there? I mean, it's like they want to just beat, like, they just rip you down to, like, all right, get down here. Get down. All right, he's 6'5 3/4. You know, he's got a 13.5-inch hand, this and that. And you're like, you don't even know what the hell's going on. Now when I went through it, they talked about the combine, and they warned you and they told you what to do, where now they're training for the combine. Like, our guys that didn't play in the playoff game or a bowl game, they left right away. They went down to, you know, some facility in Florida, Arizona, somewhere in a warm weather environment, and they have been training for this combine. That's it. They're not training for football. They're training for the combine.
Yeah.
And I know why they do it. I get why they do it, but I just don't understand. You know, there's a lot of other ways you could do it, but, you know, it is what they do. And, you know, you'll hear people talk about it, but the NFL is as hard-headed as they come when it comes to sports. They don't change their ways for nothing. So if they did it like this for 50 years, they're going to do it for the next 500. So.
Well, and going to me that too, that one of the interesting things to me is like one of the things the combine doesn't tell you at all, right? Is and in football, I mean, the elements are such a big part of it. So they're doing all of this stuff indoors on a perfect surface, all of that stuff. Well, that's great. And how many games are played? There are some, and depending on where you end up being drafted, I get it. Some players will have that situation more often than not. But, like, how is a guy going to perform when Kale talks about it all the time with his team? Like, you need to embrace adversity. And I'm not saying, some of these guys are having different types of adversity in preparing for the combines and all of that. But football is so much about how you adjust to what is happening. Putting pads on. Joe Paterno used to talk to the media from time to time about, this guy was a great 40-yard dash guy over the summer, but like the way we do it is you put the pads on, and in those days you had to wear the leg pads as well. And he's like, so that guy that was great on the track, that's nifty and all, but he's not that guy, that type of speed when you get the pads on him. And then there were other guys who, they seem to gain a step, relatively speaking, to the other guys with the pads on. There's just so many different things in football in particular that are above and beyond. And now, again, if you're, the strongest and fastest guy, is it likely that you're going to translate to being a good football player? Sure. But, man, there are so many other things that factor into it. And even, the Wonderlic test has always gotten a lot of debate, and even with quarterbacks. And I could argue that, quarterbacks, at least it makes some sense. Like, you've got to have, awareness and be able to quickly interpret a bunch of data that you're seeing and make the adjustments. But the Wonderlic test for probably 80% of the players going, like, what does that have to do with anything? Really, that is relative to what you're going to be able to do and how you're going to perform on the football field.
two stories I got for you, and that is, when Paterno was talking about a guy running a 40 over the summer, and you're like, damn it, we got to find out what part of the game they're going to run 40s. When we're gonna have a 40-yard dash out there for a game, we're going to get a touchdown out of it. No, you're right, but it does correlate a lot of the stuff that they do, and I get it. But another great story I got for you is when my brother got drafted by the Dolphins in '87, Don Shula, and they were talking about like somebody had said something about a slow 40 or this or that. Don Shula looked at my brother. And he goes, no, it was about, he didn't make his mile run or whatever. He didn't, this guy didn't make the mile run. And he goes, well, we're never going to ask you to run more than 15 yards, Buck, like Chris is what he called him. Like, don't worry about the mile run test. And, Bum Phillips is, for years talked about Earl Campbell when he didn't make his conditioning test and he didn't make this run or that run. And he goes, well, when it's fourth down and a mile, I won't use them. It's just like,
yep.
I understand the correlation, but you have to take into account. And I really think that Belichick was really, really, really good at that and realizing that, he doesn't have to have the fastest guys out there like, not Jerry Jones, but Al Davis with the Raiders, notoriously was just about speed. And he drafted his teams on speed. But I'm sorry, Al, but, you've still got to make some moves here and there. And I think that Belichick was the best at that and getting a bunch of guys who could play a lot of different positions and do this or do that and have high football IQ that he got in his teams. And they had a pretty successful run there in New England a couple years ago with those type of players.
And Goon, there's always the guys, and I mean it's not the norm, and I'm not suggesting that it is, but there are always the guys that are like you're watching them in practice, and like, he seems okay, and then they get out there in a game, and it's like, this guy is a little different on game day, and vice versa, where you have guys that it's like, oh man, I can hardly wait to see him out there for us. Man, he's just running circles around our scout team, and then he gets out there and the spotlight comes on. It's like, this isn't quite what we were seeing. And we've seen that, again, I'm not going to say often, but I certainly I've seen it in the wrestling room where you've had some guys and it's like, wow, I can hardly wait to see this guy get out there and do his stuff. And then you're like watching him go through a 500 season. It's like, that's weird. Or again, every now and then you get that guy that it's like, he's okay in practice, but man, the lights come on and it's like, all right, now let me go do my craft. And so, even
like the two speeds, the football speed and game speed versus like speed. There's two different things there. A guy can run a 4.140 and be the fastest guy out there, but you put pads on him and you put a guy around him and he has to move here and there. No, some guys are really good straight ahead and some guys know how to play the game, and there's still no test for heart and there's still no test for football IQ. I mean, the football IQ, like a Tom Brady, like that's the ultimate, like this is why you don't need a combine because it's like his football IQ was off the charts. Now I'm sure he tested very well in the Wonderlic, and I'm sure that translated. I don't know what the hell that means, as because you could figure out an equation makes you a better football player. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I understand that they want quick thinking and how you can be quick thinking on your feet when you're a quarterback type of thing. I can see where that correlates, but the football IQ, and then again, what's he going to do when he gets punched in the mouth? Every boxer will tell you everybody's got a game plan. Everybody's got this and that. He's the biggest, strongest. He's this and that. But what's he do when the guy punches him in the mouth? What's he going to do? How's he going to react? Is he going to fight versus flight? That's the biggest thing. Is that going to wake him up and make him angrier to make him be a better football player, or is he going to shrink in the moment? There's still never going to be a test for that.
Yeah, and again, there's just so many other things that play into it too. How are you with in the locker room and with helping teammates out and accepting help from teammates or advice from teammates and coaches. I mean, all of those things sometimes is hard to project exactly what that's going to look like at the next level. And I think kind of the same thing where if you're a guy that can take criticism and constructive criticism and is also willing to help out a teammate, hey, if you take a little shorter step here or whatever it may be and get a little bit lower, man, we're going to be able to make this thing work a little better. Like all of those little things, I think in a sport like football where it is so team oriented also, those are important factors when it's said and done, as in terms of, all right, this is going to work or not work for you as an individual or again as a team. And we talk about it all the time. It's just getting that right situation is such a big part of the equation. Getting a coaching staff that you connect with, that the team connects with, getting the right quarterback, getting the right synchronicity with the offensive line. All of those things are just critical elements to trying to build a winning program. And I think sometimes these teams and the scouts and the GMs just get too caught up in the numbers or get overly concerned. All right, yeah, like you were saying, that guy, he had a knee injury and I saw that he winced there. Maybe we better back off. Well, yeah, but you just watched him play an entire senior season where he was dominating. Like sometimes I just think they overthink
and then
or overanalyze.
That's up to the team and the organization of who you're trusting more. Are you trusting your medical staff, your coaching staff, your training staff, your scouting staff? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, these scouts, when they go out and they recruit guys and they say, hey, let's go after this Byers guy, and they draft you, you sure as hell better come through or that scout's going to lose his job. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a question of an organization of who they're listening to when it comes to that. Are they listening to the doctor saying, he's got a bum knee, I don't trust it, I don't think it's going to last, he's got another year before it blows out? Yes or no? Or are you going to listen to a football coach who says, dude, this guy just won a national title. Yes, his knee is bad, and we know this, and it's not, but it never slowed him down, ever.
Yeah.
So who are you listening to? And that's an organizational thing. Maybe that's why we always talk about some organizations cannot get out of their own damn way. Yeah, they might start at the combine. Who knows? Who are they listening to as, when they're drafting players? Who are the guys who say, well, Byers they want this Byers kid big time.
Yeah.
Well, who is they? The coaches? And I will say that at the combine, when you did your individual interviews with the staffs, that was the most time you talked about just football. You would go into a meeting room and then you'd have like these little nerds giving you like these little tests, like move these balls and do this and do that. They want to see how you do this. Whereas you sit down, the offensive line coach from the Saints grabs you and says, hey, let's go get a bite to eat. And he sits down with you and he talks to you. He talks to you as a man, as a human being, not just a piece of meat. So he talks to you out there and he wants to know, well, what did you guys do at Penn State, And then he pulls a little piece of paper out when you're eating your cheesecake dessert, He pulls a little paper out and says, okay, you got 5 guys. I got this 7 guys in front of you. Block this play for me. Block a draw. Block a pass block. Okay, how would you pick this screen up? What do you call this? When you combination block, what did you call it at Penn State? Why did you do that? Why would you? And he wants to see your football IQ, and he wants to know how good of a football player you are. And some guys are really good at it. I was a very good football person. Yeah. I knew the game. I understood the game. I knew, okay, all right, this me and my left guard are going to block this 3 technique to the middle linebacker. How do you do that? What foot do you step with? Where's your hand go? The coaches love to hear that. I heard guys, I won't give any names, but he was a Puerto Rican guy on my offensive line and my roommate for 5 years, who said, well, we would just take the ball, we would block him, we would just go here, and we would just hit him, and we would do this, and they're like, oh, okay. Now, Marco Rivera has a 13-year NFL career. I got kicked out after 6 weeks. So what does that say? Football knowledge versus knowledge type of thing, you just don't know. So, that's where that is at. And then, the combine was pretty notorious for that. And then, like I said, I was at the Senior Bowl and a lot of that similar stuff of guys pulling you aside and just getting to know you a little bit and seeing what you are, how you are, football mentality, football mind-wise. And, I'm sure it's differing in positions where a cornerback and a wide receiver, they're going to want, that's all about athleticism. With quarterback and offensive line, where you have to think on the run, they really want to press you to see how you're going to react to that.
Yeah, and, as you're talking there, Good, I think that is one of those other things that is hard to project is, all right, how are you going to learn or grow into, because I mean, pro football, I know, but I mean, I've talked to you and others enough. I mean, pro football is such a different animal than college football, just as college football is an entirely different animal than high school football. And so sometimes a guy that you're like, I don't know if he's going to make it, once he gets into that environment, he actually thrives. It's like, yeah, this is, I got to fend for myself and I got to battle and I like this. And others, again, where maybe you were the big dog and things came relatively easily and you have the physical tools, it's like now all of a sudden you're having to fight and scrap for everything you get. And it's like, this isn't as much fun as it was in college. I don't know that, so there's a mentality there too that, again, sometimes you might think, all right, well, this is what this guy showed us in college. That'll translate either way. And it's like, whoa, no. Now he realizes this is his living. And, yeah, he's a little more focused, a little more dedicated, a little more willing to go out and scrap for it. You know what? This has always been a game to me, and now it's a business. And I don't know that. Again, it might not be a conscious thing, but this isn't what I signed up for. I signed up for that game.
Now you're getting nitty gritty of the NFL, buddy. With the is this a business? Is there a game? I mean, one of the greatest movies about NFL football, and people will tell you that, is North Dallas 40. Remember that movie from the 70s? And John Matuszak sitting there yelling at the coach. Every time I say it's a game, you say every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. Every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. He goes, I just need some love, but it's true. It really is true. I mean, I remember going to the Indianapolis Colts, and I remember one of the older offensive linemen invited me over to his house, and it hit me that night. And I'm sitting there at this guy's house. He's got a wife. He's got 3 little kids running around, and he's like, he played with my brother back in the day. He was from Boston College, but he knew my brother. So he brought me over to dinner at his house, and I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, damn, this guy is a grown-ass man playing a sport. Yeah. And he sat me down. We had a couple beers and a big old steak in his house that night, and he said, look at this. And he pulls out the USA Today that I don't know how old it was. It was from that year, from that month. I don't know when it came out, but it was. Remember they used to release every player's salary, and he goes, "Ask me any any offensive lineman's salary," and I would just said, Doug Shakespeare. He'd be like, he's getting $825,000 from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I was like, "Yeah, you're right." He goes, "Yes. The sooner you realize it's a business, my brother," he goes, "the better." He goes, and that's what's going to make you. You need to realize that. And I didn't, and it bit me in the butt when I, went in and played that game. If I was supposedly hurt, all that crap, and I didn't realize I was still sitting there when my agent says, "Why did you go into that game?" And I said, "Because my coach told me to go play." And that's when the agent says, "You stupid son of a bitch." He goes, "This is a business. This is not a game anymore." And I was like, well, this is some pretty good information I could have used Friday night rather than, Sunday afternoon or Monday. Like, you're killing me here, You're out of a freaking job, So, it's a whole different world, but it is what it is. The sooner you realize it, the better in the professional ranks. But the fact that we have 9 guys going is pretty damn special, and it makes you really start to think, what the frick happened last year? We got 9 guys who were going to go to the NFL, and we gave that season last year. We had that season. I just disappointing.
Yep. How it went as off the rails as it did is still amazing. All right, we'll take a break here and be back with a final segment as we head into a busy sports weekend between the Olympics, all of the Penn State sports, the District 6 AA Wrestling Championships, District 6 basketball tournament will get underway next week with all of the different levels. So getting into that fun time of the year for the winter sports. We'll take a break here and be back with a wrap-up for today's show in mere minutes on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
You look a bit nervous, eh?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College.
And back here on this Thursday afternoon edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show at Quaker Steak and Lube. Great place to come on down and watch all of your favorite sports action, including the Olympic Games, watching the U.S. men's hockey team get its Olympic tournament underway here against Latvia. And again, you can come down and enjoy all of the great sports on all of the TVs located throughout the establishment. Great food, great beverages, great service here at Quaker Steak and Lube, our home away from home on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. And again, world famous for their wings, and rightfully so. But man, oh man, do they have just an unbelievable selection of delicious food available for you here at the Lube. Goon, we're heading into the weekend, and again, we've got all the Penn State stuff and all the high school stuff, and I am enjoying the Olympics. It just right now, U.S. by the way tied 1-1. With Latvia in the men's hockey tournament opener.
2 goals disallowed already. Son of a beasting.
What's that?
2 goals got disallowed already. They called them all sides, and they called goalie interference on the second one. So they've actually, it's 1-1, but they scored. They're doing well. They're doing fine. But yes, just an unbelievable. I absolutely love the Olympics, and the fact that the NHL players are back into it makes me so happy. It really does. You know me. I'm a hockey guy. You're a hockey guy. We both love the game. Don't know how to play it, but we can watch the hell out of it. But the level of hockey that when it comes to like your national teams, it's so awesome. I love the camaraderie of our guys. What the one of the NHL guy, one of the USA Olympians said about the Kachuk brothers, I absolutely laughed so hard. Coming from a family of a lot of kids, especially we had 5 boys, and when they said, we're living in the Olympic dorms, and I think the Kachuk brothers have their beds pushed together. Like, that just reeks of, like, my youth. Like, that's exactly what I was doing with my brothers when we were little kids, was pushing the beds together so we could wrestle and beat each other up more and more throughout the day and the night now. So, but it's just so funny. The national pride that goes on at these games is just outstanding, and how good the Americans and the Canadian teams are. They're on an absolute collision course in men's and women's hockey. So, going to be a good, cool next 10 days. I know that.
Yeah, although I'll tell you, Goon, I won't be surprised if Sweden crashes the party on the women's side. That U.S. did a masterful job against Canada in that matchup at the end of the group stage play, and Sweden has looked next to the U.S. has just been the most consistent team through group play. So, yeah, we'll see how everything plays out, but it's been a fun Olympics game. It is kind of funny, Goon, because I think you and I are both on the curling bandwagon as well. What is funny to me is, so I'm watching the hockey yesterday, not U.S., not involved, but I'm watching the Sweden game, and it's a great game. And then my wife and kiddo come home, and they're like, "Can we switch over to the snowboarding?" And I'm like, we could, but and I just don't have any interest in the snowboarding nearly as much as I do the curling and the hockey. And it was funny. The Mad Turtle was talking to us about the curling, and I'm like, "Why don't you like the curling?" He's like, "Well, it's not that I don't like it. I don't understand it." I'm like, "Well, I don't understand it, but I still like it. I mean, I understand it as far as it goes, but in terms of how you're actually, getting the thing online and slowing it down, speeding it up, all of that stuff, I don't completely get. But it's pretty wild to watch. But point being, within it, there are I feel like there is something there for just about everybody. I know there's some folks that are just like anti-Olympics, and others that are all in for everything. I mean, I like most of it, but again, there's certain things that, like the hockey and the curling, I'm more drawn to than some of the other sports. I'm fascinated by the speed skating too. I'm not exactly sure what the fascination is there for me, but the movement is what fascinates me there. It just like the keeping your hand behind the back and the motion. It's like, well, that can't be that hard to perfect. I ought to be able to go out that. So anyways, it's fun to watch. But different people will have their own fascination with the different sports. I'm not as much into I'm amazed by what some of the figure skaters do. I'm just not as enthralled as some others in our house are by that. I don't mind watching. I mean, but it's not like there's other things that I find more intriguing. But I will, some of what they do, like the skill level there is just out of this world, crazy good.
So I on X this morning, there was somebody posted like curling was a whole lot different in 1972, and they showed the 72 Olympic Games.
Oh boy, yeah.
I'll send it to you, Jeff, because I gotta find it. I'm telling you, bro, I peed my pants, and it's just like eight like bar dudes from like Minnesota, like the Michigan, the Wisconsin area, and it's like the big long beards. The one dude's ripping a heater. He's curling down, and the brooms are literally like witch brooms. I mean, they're like they're doing hilarious. This, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Everything is so streamlined nowadays. Everything is this and that, and here was just like eight dudes from like a local VFW up in Minnesota who just packed up and went out to the Olympics, and they're the Olympic team. It was so funny. I'm telling you, the one guy had a heater. He was pushing that line out. He had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. That is pure athleticism at its height. That's the height of athleticism. I'm just like, oh God, that is just funny to me. And I just watched it, and and the one dude was dancing, and he slips, and he falls. Oh my God, I thought it was absolutely hilarious, man. But yes, I mean, every 4 years, the national pride that you get in the Olympics. I was telling you the story the other day, and something came up, and it got sidetracked. I remember when it was an amateur sport. You do too. You know, after the 80 Olympic Games, the 84 Olympic Games, and stuff like that, when you really realize, like, wow, how like unbelievable. After watching the 84 Olympic team just get absolutely destroyed, you know, by a lot of guys because of, you know, then you realize how unbelievable the 80 game was. But I remember being a little kid, and it was like I got a letter from the United States Olympic Organization, and it had a sticker on it. You got a couple stickers with it, and if you donated money to the Olympics. And I'm like, here they are asking a 14-year-old kid to donate money to the Olympics. You know, and it was like one of those things like UNICEF, like the rice bowls during Lent at church, you know, when you put a couple quarters in the bowls and stuff like that for the starving kids. But that's how the Olympics were funded back then. And I remember I had a boom box, and I support the USA Olympic team sticker on my boom box. I remember it. And I was trying to tell Carrie, like, dude, this is how it was. Like, it was unfunded. It was nothing from the government at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. Everything was self-supported by the Olympic organization. And If you ever collected money from anything, that was a total no-no. You were never allowed to be an Olympic athlete again, and look at where we're at now.
Well, and it's such a different world, Goon, because back then, too, we were getting like, I don't even remember, maybe 3 or 4 hours of taped coverage, maybe sometimes live, but I mean, it was mostly taped coverage of
the Miracle on Ice was taped.
So,
you know that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was not shown live. That was taped delay.
But I don't think you had the opportunity. At least I don't remember it. And we did. I mean, we would follow the Olympics when I was a kiddo, but I don't ever remember curling. I don't think I ever saw curling. If I did, it made zero impression on me. Like I remember the figure skating, the from the Winter Olympics. I remember, the hockey, the figure skating, and the skiing, and that's about what I remember. Maybe every now and then you'd see, a bobsled race or, another event here or there. But now you have access, between the streaming and, you can watch everything live and then watch it again taped, which I think is great for the athletes involved and for the different sports because they're all getting exposed to various degrees. Whereas, again, when we were growing up, Goon, man, if they showed curling, I really don't remember it at all. It couldn't have been for more than like a half hour of the entire Olympic coverage, if that they devoted to that.
It might have been Jim McKay on the Wide World of Sports on Saturday afternoon, one after, I'm with you on that. Another thing, and I don't know if you watched it. Did you watch the Netflix thing yet on the Miracle?
I still have not. I'm going to try to check that out this weekend.
Okay, but when you're watching it and they're showing the other sports that are involved, it's amazing how many of them were outside. Like they had all the speed skating was on outdoor, was in outdoor environments.
Yeah,
and I was like, I didn't remember that. I do not remember that because I remember the speed skating was always inside, but I guess in the 80 Olympics up till then it was outside, and there was a bunch of different sports that were outside. And I remember watching. They showed a quick glimpse of the bobsled or the luge and stuff like that, and it just looked so primitive. Like it was like, 3 dudes in upstate New York who put like this hill going down and put some curves into it and put some 2x4s and some plywood on the wall. It was really, really amazing how I'm watching that, and I was like, holy crap, man, that's really different. Like everything was outside. I'm not lying to you. Like watching, when Penn State released those videos for the outdoor hockey game when they had like the outdoor like on the rink and stuff like that, and they had the fireplaces and guys were going to warm up. I'm telling you, they had these for the speed skating teams. I'm like, what in the hell was going on? Wow, they've really upped the ante and progressed in the last 40 years. But it was pretty cool watching it. But you are 1,000,000% right. I do not remember curling as a kid, not even a little bit.
Yeah, I don't. Again, if they did, I just completely wiped it from my memory. I don't ever remember seeing that.
All you do is got to sit there and say, "Well, I play, just a smaller version over it at Champ's basement, smoking a cigarette." I'm playing on the quates board and stuff like that, the longboard.
That's exactly right.
Holy crap! 2 disallowed and 2 posts in the first period.
Yeah, this was.
Yes, but the 80 Olympic thing. You'll love the Miracle thing. You'll really enjoy that, Jeff. But it is pretty funny looking at because I remember watching, like I think HBO did something on Miracle like 10 years ago, and they were talking about like I don't remember this, and it didn't bring it up in that new video, but the transfer system, the busing system that was up in for the 80 Olympics and the Miracle on Ice, like it completely broke down.
Yeah,
like people were just like stranded and like waiting for buses, and the bus schedule was completely screwed up and really, really whacked during those Olympics. So we've come a long way, my brother.
It is a very different world. There is no doubt about that. But again, I like it. I will say one of the things I like about when it is over in like a European country like this, and we've talked about this, I think, before, Goon, there is something just kind of fun about being able to get up in the morning and just have live sporting events on the television to view. And even if you're not watching it intently, it's just, I don't know, there's something that is nice, kind of comforting to have that occurring. It's like, oh, this is cool. And every now and then something will really grab your attention. It's like, all right, hold on, I gotta watch this, and then you go back to your daily routine. But I like that part of it.
Because you and I are sports junkies, Jeffrey.
Well,
because we love sports,
probably to an unhealthy extent.
Absolutely love it, man. Have a good weekend, brother.
Yep, I am with you. Yep, it is going to be a lot of fun. Again, Penn State Wrestling and Ohio State tomorrow night, 7:00 duel at the Bryce Jordan Center. We'll see if the Nittany Lion basketball team can get on a little streak here. They'll be at Oregon. That'll be Saturday afternoon at 3. Saturday at noon, Penn State men's lacrosse taking on the third-ranked Princeton Tigers in a really big early season opportunity among some of the highlights this weekend with Penn State sports. And again, we'll have live coverage of the District 6 AA Wrestling Championships all weekend long. Our coverage will get underway just a little before 11 tomorrow morning from Altoona with the Browns. Folks, we hope you have a great weekend. We will be back with you on Tuesday. Until then, be good and be safe.
You look a bit nervous, eh?
Terry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, Coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College.